I tell this story one time of, it's very embarrassing, but in high school, I tried flushing a Bible down the toilet strictly out of a virtue signal. I never opened up the Bible, never went to church, never knew anything about God, but I had a lot of opinions on him. And yeah, I threw a Bible in the toilet in front of a bunch of girls in the bathroom. And, I was one of those angry, angsty teenagers. The reason that I'm bringing this up is to pose the question, if God is imaginary, if he doesn't exist, then why are people putting so much effort behind trying to destroy the church? That's a question for you. I already know the answer, and I'm going to give it to you, but I want to get your brain thinking a little bit. Have you ever heard the phrase, how to boil a frog? It's this idea that if you were to take a frog and throw it into a boiling pot of water, if you threw it into a boiling pot of water, it would jump out immediately because it's hot. It's like, right? So instead, what you do is you put a frog in a room temperature pot of water and you slowly raise the heat. And by the time the frog realizes that he's being boiled, it's too late. He's dead. So the people in power that are benefiting off of seeing society fight with each other, they're boiling the frog being people that are followers of Christ. And they're doing this because if you were to outright close the churches, or like Canada, there's a lot of church burnings going on. I don't know if they're still happening. Let me know in the comments if that's still occurring. I know in 2020 it was a big issue. But if you were to just close all the churches, people would notice. People would notice and people would say something. So instead, you slowly inject the church with social justice. And if you add things to the gospel, the Bible, if you add things, you are therefore subtracting things. So instead of, like that book said, instead of going to church to worship God and have a connection with him, you are now going to church to be a social justice warrior, to talk about anti-racism, to talk about white supremacy and whiteness and systemic racism and inequity and all this garbage. That's not the point of going to church. It's not the point of being a believer in God. What I'm seeing is a symptom of a communist uprising, and that's not good. I know there's a lot of